Welcome to the 1 Million Mile Road Trip. I'm Tommy.
And I'm Meddena.
And tonight we want to talk about the disappearance of some RVers that have been in the news and how that we can use some free apps and also some suggestions we have in case that you should get lost or either one of us should have similar circumstances like what happened to them. First, a little background on them. It's Beverly and Ron Barker. They were RVers. They were in their late 60s, early 70s. Apparently, they were not in perfect health. That did contribute to, unfortunately, to the death of one of the husband, Ron, and did make it very hard for them to escape the situation they were in. But they followed their GPS was set on the fastest route, and apparently on a GPS you can set it on the fastest route, which can take you on gravel roads to get you to one location to the other, or you can set the GPS on following the main roads, which I was not exactly familiar with that. But anyway, their GPS was set on the fastest route, and when they went into the Nevada mountains, the road turned to gravel where they were going, and they said the road was bumpy. The woman said the road was bumpy, but it wasn't a four-wheel drive type road.
And it wasn't deserted.
No, there were other RVers camping on the road, and I think they were looking for some place to do some dry camping or possibly boondocking. And as they got higher in elevation, they decided to take a side road, which turned out to be a bad mistake. They ended up getting their RV stuck, and so instead of I don't know if they stayed the night in the RV, but they got up at some time and left in their car, trying to backtrack down the mountain, and turned on the wrong road and got the car stuck. So they had none of their medication in the car with them, according to the wife, Beverly Barker, and that they didn't have any water or food with them, didn't have any thing that they could use. They didn't have any emergency equipment, first aid kit, or anything in the vehicle. They didn't have anything prepared for this type of emergency.
And she was there for 10 days. The struggle to survive.
Right, and just a little thing. They had emergency crews that were looking for them. I believe, RVs. It was found stuck in the mud near Silver Peak, Nevada, around noon on Tuesday, more than a week after they left on their trip. And she told her, we talked about the GPS was the problem. And unfortunately, while they were stuck, she said it got very cold at night. They didn't have proper clothing, so they huddled together. But it ended up, was using a walker, so she had to use a walker to go out and find snow close by and put the snow in. They used like their masks, like these COVID masks, because they were formed that way to try to eat the snow and try to use the water to drink. It's a very sad situation. They did their best with what they had. Unfortunately, the husband died from lack of food and water. He got dehydrated, and unfortunately, it was just hours before she was rescued. Ended up being rescued. One thing, he was prior military, and he did know the Morse code for SOS, and he did the SOS on their vehicle horn and taught his wife to do that, and that's eventually the horn being beeped led rescuers to her. Now, we're going to talk about several things that we feel like what might have made a difference, and what we are going to start doing in our car as we go out west, and even right now, we may be closing our car, and I do think that we might have some emergency type, some emergency stuff in there.
We don't have food in there.
We don't have food, but I think if you put together maybe a little backpack or something, and you could put some power bars in there, and some non-perishable type of, maybe a couple of canned foods, non-perishable, that had the pop tops to them.
Very smart of you to think of that.
And a couple of these blankets that they sell. There's like foam. If you see them, I know you've seen them, where they give them to people to put on their emergency type blankets to hold the heat in. But they come in just packs, honestly, about this big. And you pull them out, and they look like aluminum foil, actually. But they hold the heat in. They keep you extremely warm. And you can put it, to keep yourself from getting a hypothermia. And
if worse comes to worse, you're supposed to strip naked and hug somebody.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm just saying.
And maybe a single mirror. They got these signal type mirrors. They have holes in them where you can hold it up where airplanes going by and tilt it back and forth in the sunlight, and you can it's really visible from the ground. And just some preparation for that. And another thing that we have as a part, we got it, I think, with one of either the Berkey sent it when we bought the Berkey.
No, I bought it when we bought our survival food.
Okay. We have some survival food that she bought. But what it is, it's just it looks like a water filter. It's about a foot long, and it's made where it gets out 99.9999 of infinity type bacteria. But if there's a stream, any type of stream in the mountains or anywhere, you can actually take it out of a mud puddle, actually. Yeah. And you put it down there and you drink water through that straw, and it gives you clean water that's doesn't have any bacteria in the water. So I think that's huge about doing it. And one of those straw type things will last weeks or months. I mean, it lasts a long time using it. But if you had to leave your vehicle and you had your backpack with you with your stuff, we talked about leaving a note.
Okay, let me tell about that.
Wait a minute. Leaving a note on the inside of the glass. So if you leave it on the outside, it's going to get water and rain and stuff like that.
So if our RV was to get stuck in the mud, or we broke down and we were going to take our tow vehicle and go somewhere, I would leave a note taped to the inside RV window telling people what day and time we left and what direction we are traveling in, our cell phone number, and our emergency numbers.
And the description of the vehicle
we're in. And also, I would take with us, because I feel like if we've got stuck in the mud, we're going to have time to pack a bag. I would take our medicine. I'd take change of clothing, warmer clothing, cooler clothing, whatever. Important papers that we might need, some extra money, and my, a hand mirror, and also some blankets, a pillow, and water.
Yeah, I mean, you could afford to leave in your car, even if you're just going to take your car out riding. Say we have a Jeep Liberty. If we're in the desert, dry camping or whatever, and say we just want to go out riding in the desert, some of these old roads, the ghost towns and stuff, it's going to be to our benefit to take a couple gallons of water in the car, just so that we have, in case we break down, the car gets stuck, the motor quits, the transfer, whatever.
But we need to take food and water, because like them, they were for 10 days.
Yeah, well, you could pack a backpack.
Yeah.
And a little small backpack and leave it in your car, and if you don't have to use it, then so be it. It's great.
We have water in our Jeep right now because I don't have any room for it in the RV.
Yeah, but I just think that just a little bit of preparation like that could go a long way. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want to take my medicine every time. But what I do for a lot of stuff is we just take something like this. This is a little small pack. It has the main type of medicine, like maybe that I want to take in case that you know something happens. It's not a whole lot, but just enough so it would get you through. Especially if you're diabetic or if you're taking medicine that you need to take every day. A lot of medicine.
Crazy medicine I need to take every day.
You're crazy. It's your thyroid medicine. But it's a lot of medicine like, you know, I take a blood pressure medicine that the doctor told me I cannot just stop it overnight. That it would cause serious problems if I missed it more than a couple of days. So I don't need to be without that. So I'll be take a little with me just in case something was to happen. And if it doesn't, you just pick it up. You saw the pack, what size it is. You just pick it up and carry it back with you. It's not a big deal. Also
in your car, it would be nice to have an air compressor and a little jumper. They've got the little car jumpers now. And a battery backup for your cell phone.
Yeah, but you remember, if you have a flat tire, if you're out somewhere and you need to get back, you can run your car on the rim. It will run on the rims, even with a flat tire. You can run, if you don't have a spare, the spare goes flat or something, you can run that car. I've watched enough and been in a lot of pursuits when I was in law enforcement to know that people can ride on the rims for a long time. And you know, you're talking about. Do you have to pay for the road you tear up? Well, I mean, if you're out there stuck, or you're out there and you need to get back and you're out in the boonies, you know, and it's best, they say, to stay with your vehicle if possible, because you're easy to spot from the air. The vehicle's easier to spot from the air. I can think of a disappearance of a young man that they found his Jeep in the desert, and they still have not found him. He was out in his Jeep. It had turned over, and it didn't look like anybody it wasn't any evidence of anybody being injured in the vehicle, but it was inside a ditch. And he was not to be found. As far as I know, he has not been found yet. So what I say is stay with your vehicle. You might even, in that pack that you pack, you might want to bring matches, or you might want to bring the fire starters that they have now, where you scrape them over the top and it creates a spark and allows you to build a fire wherever you are, for heat and for signaling that you are broke down. But when I look at this case of this couple that got lost and died in this, because he died, but she was not in the best of health. You know, if they'd have just had packed that survival type of gear, it might have prolonged their lives, or either might have saved his life. But
you know what? They probably, like us, a lot of times we leave without thinking about the extra things we need to take. And so they probably thought, well, we got the RV stuck, we'll just get in the car and we'll, you know, go get help. And then they ended up getting...
Yeah, they thought that they could just retrace their tracks, because there was snow on portions of the road. But as you know, if it snows at all, they'll cover those tracks up in no time at all. And they got...
It's a sad situation.
So I don't know, you know, you want to think about staying with the RV where you have your food, you have warmth, you have everything you can, and then eventually either you would get rescued, or
that's true.
You know, I don't know that unless I was 100% sure of where I was going, or 100% sure that it's one thing I don't think they had four-wheel drive in the vehicle they were towing. If you have a Jeep with four-wheel drive, that might make all the difference. But it's a debate on, do you leave the RV or do you and try to make it back to civilization to get somebody to help you or a cell phone service, or do you stay with the RV and wait it out? Because in the situation like them, and they were elderly in poor health, 69 and 72, I think he was, 72, then it's if they would have stayed with the RV, it's pretty much sure that they both would have survived, because they had food, water, and your RV, we carry 100 gallons of water in the RV. You have a bathroom, you have all the food here and everything. We could survive. If we were forced to stay here right now, we have solar, so it would be, we could stay out a long time.
We'd dig a hole out there for the septic, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we could stay probably months.
We've stayed 3 weeks without
moving before, right? But I mean, we could probably stay a couple months. But the biggest thing we do that allows us right now, that somebody always can tell at least where our last location was before we ran out of service, is our daughter and our son both track us via a phone. We all have Apple products, so we have Find My Phone, and they can look on any time they want to, and they can see where we are.
In fact, our son sometimes will say, "Hey, I see y'all are parking at such and such place. Is it safe?"
Yeah, right. He kind of keeps up with it.
He keeps up with it.
But they're not. That's not foolproof, because the other day, Meddena was gone with her dad up to a location, and I wanted to find out how long it was going to be before she came back, and I couldn't find her on the thing, and
I was lost.
She was lost. And also, our daughter went to New York, and I looked at where she was at there in New York, and it said within this circle, and it was like 3-mile circle. I guess in the main city, you don't have the it gets lost between the buildings. But once she was out driving down the road or something, I could see her in a taxi. And I know that it's not foolproof, but for the most part it is. And they can tell you, that app probably can tell you about the last location too. But I'm glad our kids track us.
One of the things, I guess, is if we are getting off-road in an area, I probably would look at my phone and send to the kids a coordinates of where we were. Something so that they would know a starting place. Because, remember last year or year before last when that couple was murdered down at the border?
Well, it was in Texas.
Yeah,
I think it's St. Padre Island or something.
Yeah, somebody killed them, buried them with their phones, and stole their RV. The only way they found their bodies was the
cell phones.
Pinging.
And, last known ping location. One thing too that I've heard that I don't know if this would have worked. I know these couple tried to text out, tried to leave emails, and they never could get service. Somebody told me, if you can get a message to copy on your phone saying, hey, I'm stranded, we broke down, this is the last, if you go up this road from so-and-so, we're in this area, help, we need to send help now. That when people call you, if they can't get you, it will go to message. So I don't know if that's possible if you don't have service or what it is, but I was told to leave a message on your phone.
Let that be your answer.
Right.
Okay.
You
can change your answer machine anytime.
Okay, even if you don't have service?
Even if you don't have service.
Well, that would be what I would try.
I think you
can. At the very least, give it a shot. Try it, and try to, a lot of times you can text on there, but you can't.
Yes.
You can't call for whatever reason. So text a message out to your relatives saying, this is where we are, and if you have a way to get your coordinates, whether it's you know, your GPS or whatever. Another thing that we've talked about this before, and they cost, I know a lot of stuff costs money, but for $100, around $100, you can get this just like this like the EPIRBs they put in boats that let them know if you have an emergency, it goes to a satellite. Well, they're for hikers mostly, and they fit on your lapel. You carry them on your lapel, and if you have an emergency, you fall off a cliff, break your leg, you get stranded, you break down in your car, you can step outside your car and push that alert button, and then it sends a message to the satellite that monitors all these EPIRBs all over the United States and the oceans and everything, just like an airplane has these. Most airplanes have them. And it sends a message to the closest authority, Coast Guard rescuers, you know, it's a military type thing, and it'll give your exact coordinates and send a message saying that you are in distress. And it's actually for emergencies. You don't need to do this, use it if you run out of gas or if it's not
I think I would do that, y'all.
If it's not a life and death type situation, you would need to use it. And that might be worth it. I think really that we may invest in that just to put in the car. So in case we are out and we get lost and get stranded somewhere, and then if we're going to take a hike up, say, into Utah at some of these places, take it with you. And if something happens, you fall and break your leg or snake bit or anything where you need help right away, you push that little button and you push it and forget it.
Well, if I see a snake, I'm pushing it.
Now, it has to bite you. It
ain't gonna bite me. I'm gonna say, come get me quick, quick.
No. You know what I mean. It's an emergency type situation. But they're around, I think they're around $100. I've seen them for around that.
Okay. Well, I hope that
that some of this information could be valuable to you. I know that when we heard these people disappeared, you know, a lot of things came to mind. I was hoping it wasn't one of these type things where they meet the wrong person,
and I'm glad
and they get murdered. Or you remember that happened to the couple out in Utah when Gabby went missing out there. A couple were out there camping, and somebody came by and actually killed both of them right after they got married. And then they had the guy on the Appalachian Trail that had killed 2 or 3 people up there. They ended up catching him. So, you know, we've got a video that covers traveling armed, and it covers some of that stuff. You may want to go back and look at that. And that is something that if you don't, we discuss other methods where you don't want to travel armed, but you might want to travel, carry certain things that would protect you if you were stranded in your RV, whether it's having like bear spray or anything else with you.
I like that international sound.
Yeah, I got you. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed the video. We would ask you, if you did, to please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. No, we hope you don't give us a thumb down.
Give us a thumbs up or thumbs
down. YouTube likes that interaction.
We like
it. And leave us a comment. Tell us what we can make our channel better, and push that little subscribe button. In fact, I'll put it up here above us here. A little subscribe button, and push on the little bell. Ring the bell, and that'll let you know every time we have a video coming out, for sure. We don't want that to happen to anybody, and just a little preparation might save your life.
That's right. I always told the young girls that were in my youth group when I was a youth leader, is you prepare what you're going to do in case something happens. So if you prepare and you know, okay, my RV, we might break down, this is what we need to do, then it's already in your mind, and then that way you're not panicking going, oh my gosh, what do I need to get?
Yeah, that's right.
Prepare.
See, and I would encourage you to always, if you can, let somebody in your family know what area of country you're in. If you don't want to use this app, it's just so simple to just put on your phone and let, I'll put a list of the 10 most recommended apps that they have for iPhone, Android type things, where you can actually research them yourself and find out which one you want to use.
Find My Phone works for us.
It does, works great. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you out there on the road.